There are lots of different types of real estate activities out there, but there are very few types of real estate agents. We want to dive into that just a little bit because as the market is hot and things continue to heat up and move forward, you're going to want to make sure you're picking the right agent or the agent that has several of these specialties in their belt so that they can be the very best expert for you. Becoming a real estate agent is an exciting journey all by itself. It involves mastering the real estate market, adapting to the client needs, consistently educating and re-educating on the things that are important to not only our clients, but also to ourselves as agents so that we can be masters of our craft. While all types of real estate agents are required to take these educational courses to continue their license experiences for you, you can choose to work as different roles. Each of these require a different set of skills for you. Everything from first-time homebuyers all the way to luxury listings, you can handle a wide variety of transactions or choose from a specialization or a niche. We're going to break down these roles so that you find yourself as a particular real estate agent, as a master of these particular niches, or we're going to allow you to figure out which of these 6 blocks you're going to be able to work in to be the most efficient in your real estate career. Let's dive in. The most popular of which, of course, is the listing agent, or depending on which contract you're using in which state, the seller's agent. Listing agent represents the seller of a property, represents a home. Each time you meet with a potential seller, you're going to be doing the basics. You're going to be presenting and preparing a listing presentation. That's going to include a comparative market analysis. It's going to help you explain how you assist them in selling their home. It's going to have a listing and a marketing plan. Once your listing agreement, your contract for representation with your client is signed, you're going to be responsible for listing that home for sale. You're also going to be in charge of marketing and selling this property, but most importantly, your job is to procure a buyer, qualified buyer for the property that you're marketing for them. You're going to do open houses. You're going to coordinate showings. You're going to support the sellers through market shifts, up-to-date comps of what their current selling competitive value is worth. Because remember, there's a lot of houses for sale out there. The home you're representing is the one that is going to be compared to others that are similar in their neighborhood, and that's how your pricing is going to be set. Then you're going to look at the market swings, whether up, down, or flat, and decide whether or not you can take certain risks with the pricing to make sure that the client's going to maximize the aperture so that the most people are looking at it. Listing agent is going to represent the seller of the property. This type of real estate agent is going to negotiate on behalf of the seller during the transaction. They're going to cooperate with potential buyers and or their buyer's agent. Once an offer comes in from the buyer's side, the listing agent's going to require to share the offer with the seller themselves. So not only are you going to have to present a piece of paper, a potential purchase contract, but you're going to have to explain what these terms are and how they're wanting to negotiate further on moving the purchase forward. It's ultimately up to the seller to choose the offer they want to move forward with. If you're in a competitive market like we're here in Florida, more often than not, you're going to have multiple offers that come in, sometimes at the same time, where you have a very short amount of time to explain all of the benefits and all of the negative possibilities that could be shared inside of this offer so that the client can then read into the contract itself and make the decision of what's going to be best for them to move forward. Listing agent is there to support the seller in making this decision. Support, not make the decision for the seller. There are certain skills that you are looking for in a listing agent and agents. There are certain skills you better have in your golf bag if you want to play in this game. Customer service, negotiating, time management, local market knowledge, transaction management, detail orientation, problem-solving skills. Top of which I would say is the negotiating technique. We absolutely have had classes about that. Make sure you check out this class that we did just a couple of weeks ago on the art of negotiation and how you can make sure that your buyer's agents or your purchase agreements are going to be top of mind, so that all of the points that you're going to be able to see when you're walking through the contract language is going to show the most benefit to the seller, so they understand why they want to do business with you, as opposed to this big stack of contracts that they've got showing up on their desks. How do listing agents earn money? Listing agents themselves earn a commission on the first and final sale price of the property. The listing agent and the seller negotiate a selling commission percentage. Once a rate is agreed upon, both of these parties are going to sign the listing presentation agreement, which is also going to act as a compensation agreement on the listing side of the house. There is a considerable education requirement for a listing agent. To become a listing agent, you must first take the real estate agent pre-licensing course. You got to pass the licensing exam, as you will for all of these. But more than that, you're going to take listings on the state that you obtained your license and learn all of the legal responsibilities in the representation of this house. And you're going to add plenty of specialized credentials to be able to support it. Things like seller representative specialist, the SRS, pricing strategy advisor, the PSA. These are just great examples of how you can hone your skills as a listing agent. Myself, I hone the moniker of GRI as well as 17 other accreditations. It is to make absolutely sure I hold the utmost amount of education and credentialing support and accreditations to represent you as the client, as well as the other agents that I support in the field. I want to make sure that I am the top educated mind inside of our agency, and I want to make sure that all of the people that I mentor and support inside of Keystone know the right and the proper methodologies behind executing against these offers and contracts, and most importantly, how we're representing the client themselves. The second and probably the most popular type of agent that you will run into out there is the buyer's agent. The buyer's agent helps potential home buyers find a property to purchase. They're going to conduct a buyer's consultation. They're going to get to know their buyer. They're going to understand the buyer's needs. They're going to maintain clarity and protect everyone's interest. I advise personally using a buyer's agency agreement with all of the things that are happening inside of the NAR, the settlement, the lawsuit. Forget all of that. This is about educating the clients to understand that they are represented by a professional and they should expect to pay a compensation for that buyer's agent's work and efforts. Now, that said, the buyer's agent might negotiate to procure some or all of their compensation from the listing side of the house. If the listing agent procured a contract that says, I'm going to represent, just as an expectation, X amount of percentage of compensation, in which I plan to share some of what I'm collecting as compensation to a buyer's agent that cooperates with me in the closing of this contract. This isn't new. This is how the state and the art of the business has been done since the very beginning. You want to allow transparency. You want to continue to move things forward. You want to understand how all partners are paid in this agreement. If you take a look at this class from just last week on everything that's being done inside of the rules and regulations of the RESPA agreements, this is why you are protected. These are the rules to keep shady dealings from happening. We want to make sure that you're working with the very best. And these rules have been set up since the early 1900s of doing business. So get out there and read them and know why. If your agent's doing something outside of this, you should have a business conversation with them. No different than if you're working with a lawyer or a doctor and you're not comfortable with how they're presenting you or presenting their practice. You want to have an honest business conversation with the person you're paying to do business with. Let's get back to the buyer's agent. Once they decide to get that agreement signed, so everybody understands how they're going to do business, just like no one should represent any client without some type of contract, you can then get started. You're going to coordinate showings for your buyer. You're going to host property tours. You're going to negotiate on behalf of your buyer in a limited legal capacity. You're going to make absolutely sure that you can write and submit offers to the listing side of the house so that you can begin negotiating against the purchase of the home of choice. Part of your responsibility as a buyer's agent is to analyze the sold and the comparable properties that are out there to make sure your client, with the information that they need, can make a fair and market value offer. Hear what I'm telling you out there. Buyer's agents that allow their clients to just throw lowball offers out there, if that's your strategy, it's an interesting art, it's an interesting craft, and you're typically securing investors as your buying clients. Please do it in a way that it does not insult the seller. Let them know, be transparent, that your client is an investor strategist and they're looking to maximize their margin on the purchase of a home so that they can move things forward. We want to make absolutely sure that everybody remains fair in their negotiating and want to make sure that you're providing your clients with the utmost level of service to keep that fair market value accessible. Buyers agents, they also need to have that unique responsibility of working with first-time home buyers. This is going to require a lot more in-depth education on behalf of the agent, and the buyers need to be able to sit with their agent in confidence and be explained a lot. I hate to say hand-holding, but there's a lot of hand-holding that is necessary to be the buyer's agent, not only from the first-time home buyer's perspective, but even buyers that think they've done this a million times. They haven't necessarily done it in this market, during this time, during the way money is moving in today's channels. So you want to make absolutely sure that while you're adding partners to all of these conversations, your home inspectors, your walkthrough inspectors, your closing agents, your title companies, your appraisers, you have a good, firm understanding of how to talk to your clients and walk them through the process before they start exhibiting the pain of unexpected results. Do the pain management therapy for all of your sessions. You should have a very prepared list of expectations, a business plan of how the buyer's agency process is going to work. Talk to them in each step. Don't overwhelm them by telling me, here's everything that we're going to happen from the day that you sign a buyer's agency agreement with me to the day we close the deal. Here's all 15 steps. That's great. We want to make sure that they have that education, but your job as an agent to explain each of these piece by piece so that they have a firm understanding of not only what are they dealing with now, but potentially the aggravation that's coming next so that they're prepared and they know how to negotiate with you. There are certain skills that absolutely need to be developed as a buyer's agent. And here at Keystone, we make sure to develop each of these and hone these skills securely. So no matter when they come up or what order they come up in that they need to be used, we have the right club in our golf bag to play the full 18 holes of golf necessary to be successful with you. Customer service, you've heard that one already. Negotiation, empathy, teaching and educational skills, active listening, local market knowledge, transaction management, and ability to network. I would personally say that 90% of the deals that I have done in my real estate history have been done well because I networked well with the agent on the other side or with their firm or agency, and I have built a relationship around the person I'm doing business with. Yes, there's a buyer and a seller involved, but if the two agents can have a great relationship, they'll keep things fair, honest, and transparent for everyone involved, and it does not need to be a heated, negotiable outrage every single time that there is a conversation to be had. You're going to put yourself and you're going to put your clients in a position of distress from the beginning to the end of this transaction. That's the last thing you wanted to do.